Good morning, Wareham, and it is Wednesday, December 11th. We have a great show here for you. The news headlines, the weather report, and today in history. This morning, we're waiting for confirmation from Sally Morrison, actually, to come and talk about DPAR. So hopefully she will make it here and we can have a guest of the day. But apart from that, we have several other great programs to showcase this morning. So before we get to any of that, I would like to take this moment to thank Not Your Average Antiques, an antique shop down Cranberry Highway in East Wareham, for donating the props that you see in the morning show. So stay tuned because the weather and the news headlines are next. We're going to start with your favorite family members. Those are your pets. Dog licenses for year 2020 will be available at the town clerk's office starting December 16th. All dogs in Wareham must be licensed. A valid rabies certificate is required for the licensing. A dog license form will be attached to the bottom of the census, which will be mailed out in January or can be obtained at the town clerk's office. So do not forget, plenty of ways to get that accomplished. And also, the Wareham police arrested Eli Finkley, 36 years old, of Falmouth, for possession with intent to distribute both suspected cocaine and heroin. Juvenile Detective Carl Baptiste spotted Finkley sitting in a parked car at the corner of Onset Avenue and Groove Street at about 1:42 a.m. when he stopped by, and which led to the search of his car. Finkley was then arrested and charged with possession with intent to distribute a Class B drug and with possession and intent to distribute a Class A drug. And also, Wareham is remembering Officer Christopher Argentines, who died on December 11th of 1999 after being struck by a state police cruiser as he was chasing a suspect on foot. He died from injuries sustained in the accident 3 days later, leaving behind his wife of 10 years, Maureen, and their two sons, 3-year-old Nicholas and 5-year-old Doris. After serving at the Department of Wareham Police Department for 12 years, Argentines was buried on December 17th, just a few weeks before Christmas. This month marks his 20th anniversary since his death. And the Wareham Village Association is desperately looking for drivers to deliver healthy, nutritious meals to the seniors. If anyone can spare an hour or two a week to deliver meals, please, you can reach out to the Wareham Council on Aging for more information. There will be a mileage reimbursement as well. The board is also seeking new board members. People of all ages are welcome and encouraged to join. The board meets the first Thursday of every month at 10 a.m. You must be a Wareham resident and registered voter in order to join the board. And right now, let's take a look at our weather. Okay, it's not a free day out there, though it looked like it was going to be. When I woke up this morning and looked outside, I said, oh my goodness, there's no good morning Wareham. But then the snow amounted to nothing. And actually the sun is expected to come out today, so there will be no evidence that this ever occurred. We are looking at 33 degrees for high and 20 for low, so remember to wear warm clothing even though the sun is out. And speaking of the sun, tomorrow the sun is expected to come out. We're looking at 31 degrees for high and 22 for a low. So still very cold out there, though it's going to be nice and sunny. Perfect day for you to continue your Christmas shopping. And that concludes this morning news headlines and the weather report. And right now, let's dive into our first featured program of the day. And that is teaching the students at Wareham Middle School the dangers of vaping and how to stand up to peer pressure. So take a look. In a world of growing addiction and peer pressure, a local school nurse is teaching her students the tools they will need in order to combat the harmful trends. E-cigarettes and the dangers of vaping is a hot topic at Wareham Middle School.
My daughter told me a couple of years ago that kids were vaping in a class that she was in.
Consequently, she came across the Catch My Breath program, a cigarette and vaping lesson that focuses on peer pressure resistance, the dangers surrounding drug usage, and misleading advertising tactics.
It was just kind of a lucky thing that I happened to came across at the right time when I was hearing about it. And they seem very effective. So, and then now, of course, the whole vaping thing is blown up, and there's so much going on. It's even more vitally important with all these horrible illnesses that are happening.
Did you have a conversation with the students to talk about why they are vaping and what their path was to vaping?
Yes, when we first start, when I very first introduced the lesson, I have a little discussion with them. The young lady who had said that she stopped, I remember her response at the beginning, because she was quite honest about it. She said it looks cool. She said it looks cool. So there's a coolness factor that I've noticed with the advertising. And the kids, show me more. It turned out when I questioned them a little bit more, I think this was last year, they said on YouTube there's a lot of YouTubers who are vaping, and they show these tricks that look cool, and I think a lot of the young boys were encouraged that, like, oh, maybe this will help you look cool and you'll get a girlfriend, that kind of thing.
Catch My Breath program was developed by the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston School of Public Health, with the mission to equip students with the knowledge and skills they need to make informed decisions about the use of e-cigarettes. The program celebrates 2 years at Wareham Middle School. Did they seem to understand the pernicious effects of doing such a thing?
I don't think they do.
Okay.
I think that's what it is. I think that the companies, the e-cigarette companies, have promoted the product in a way, well, when you say vaping, for example, you think of water vapor. I know in middle school science, that definitely has to do with the standards we cover. So you think of water coming off of the bay, as we see around here in the morning. You don't think of harmful chemicals. So when they see it, they think, oh, it's just water vapor. And I think the companies were encouraging that, but it's not. It's actually an aerosol. It's fine particles when you ignite it, and so it's not a vapor. It's particles that they're inhaling into the lungs, which we now know is so bad. So the kids really don't know that it's dangerous.
The program has generated earnest success. So far, 2 of her students have expressed how the program has empowered them to stand up against peer pressure and the desire to vape.
They seem quite thrilled to be informed about it. They're happy for the news, and they feel kind of empowered, I would say. And sometimes if we have time at the end of the week, I'll have them make posters, or I'll say, well, do you want to do something more with this? And they say, oh, we'd like to make posters to do something to teach the other kids, because they feel they're knowledgeable now, and knowledge is power.
Now, when we talk about kids, this is the middle school. How young are these kids who are vaping?
Well, I don't hear about it. We don't really have much of a problem with it here. It comes up rarely at the middle school, just here and there, and it's certainly, as far as I'm aware, it hasn't come up as much in discipline. I think it's more of a problem at the high school, but obviously it does happen here and there, and kids are seeing it. And I feel very strongly that 7th grade especially is a really prime time to get these kids with lessons, because from what I understand about their development and their age, I work with a lot of different ages, they're just kind of on the cusp of, are they going to try it? 7th grade for some kids, they might start. 8th grade, 9th, 10th, I think the older you get up, into high school, there's a more chance because they're exposed to it. But I feel this is the right age to give them these lessons. Yeah.
Are you working with a nurse at the high school to further this lesson to help those students at the higher level?
No, I don't work with the high school. We don't have a lot of opportunity to meet with them. I am, with other work I'm doing now um, towards addiction, I am starting to work more with the high school on that. And of course, the e-cigarettes fall under the category of addiction because of the nicotine in it. So I am wanting to do that, and I am looking forward to do that. I've made some connections at the high school, and that's something I'm working on now.
So when we're talking about addiction, you talked about vaping. Also, I'm thinking substance abuse, such as alcohol.
Yes.
All right. Marijuana is also very big.
Yes.
Especially that now it's legal.
Yes.
What other types of addiction are you covering? Because our area and those neighboring towns around the Cape, we are swamped when it comes to opioids addiction. We have
Yes.
lost a lot of people.
Yes.
And some of these kids may be coming from homes where they have lost very prominent people in their
Yes.
homes.
Yeah.
So what other addictions or substance use do you cover, and how do you present it to them in a way that they can fight the idea or the notion of being cool, doing something for just
Yeah.
being cool rather than being themselves and to make something better of their lives?
Yes, yes. Well, yes, it's very important. Well, the way I start off addiction is, well, we talk about addiction specifically. We talk about it, and we discuss different substances and things that are addictive, because we talk about, can you be addicted to video games, and what does it mean to be addicted? So we talk about the difference between physical addiction and mental addiction. And so I tell them that some drugs, literally alter the way that the brain works. And some drugs people can, and you'd have withdrawals if you stop taking it, as opposed to a mental addiction where you feel like you need it, but you could stop and there'd be no sign. So we talk about how marijuana can be mentally addictive, but not physically addictive. So it's two different types. We discuss that. We talk about addiction in all different forms. And we also talk about why, and on my website, I've posted, because the lists are great, what the kids come up with after we've spent some time discussing it, why you don't want to be addicted. And so they list things like, the cost and what it could do to your family, and the trust your friends might have in you, the trouble you can get in school. And I did this, I remember, towards the end of last year. One young man who was in the class, he said, wow, I never thought about all the consequences to being addicted. So we talk about the opioid addiction and how now the problem has ballooned so much because of people being prescribed painkillers from their doctors, and how that's created a whole, another level to the problem, and how kids had gone into their parents' medicine cabinets or grandparents' medicine cabinets and taken pills sometimes, just thinking, not knowing what it was as an experiment, and how that led to it.
She acknowledges that with the legalization of substances such as marijuana, one way to combat the problem is focusing on postponing rather than abstaining.
So the research I'm doing, being back in school, is showing me that a lot of these abstinence-only programs for drug education really didn't work. The DARE program, which a lot of people thought it was abstinence only. They say that what works more effectively is teaching kids to at least postpone it, accept the idea. I mean, in this culture, honestly, television, movies, everywhere you look, if you think about it, we do a lot of promotion of drugs and alcohol and stuff that is addictive. So we have to recognize the fact that that's there. The kids see it. Of course, they're curious about it. And we also kind of make it look glamorous and sophisticated sometimes. So there's a good chance that they're probably going to want to try some of these things later. So I say to them, if you could just wait, because your brain is developing. I showed them this clip. We look at a couple of other pieces of evidence that speak to the same facts, and I think that does resonate with them. It's like, okay, try it, but how about you just wait? Wait until you're that much older, and yeah.
Now, these are all like viable lessons that you're teaching here. I'm thinking that what are different ways you can involve an entire community, therefore when you don't have your eyes on your kids, somebody else
I'm
can
glad
watch
you
them
asked
for
that
you.
question. I'm glad you asked that question. So I've recently gone back to school at Northeastern University, working on a doctorate of education, and the way that the program runs is we follow, or we are being taught to follow a model called action research. And so what I'm going to do is work with the community. I've already made contact with Lieutenant Correa at the Wareham Police, and he told me about a drug court. So I'm in touch with a probation officer there, who's going to allow me to come in and kind of see how it works. So ultimately, what I want to do is work with different members of the community who are stakeholders in the problem of addiction, who work with it, first responders, programs around town that help with addiction. And I want to get their input on what they think kids need to learn, what are the lessons that even hopefully speak to people who do have addiction problems, say, what do you think maybe would have stopped you when you were younger, or do you have some advice? And then create a new set of addiction lessons that address specifically the problems that people in our town see as the bigger issues.
Crucial lessons, and I hope that you will carry on these lessons to your children at home and encourage them good behavior practices. And right now, let's go to sports yoga, which is they're actually located right here on Main Street. And what they do is take yoga to the next level, especially with, well, the second biggest holiday, that is Christmas, because the first one is Thanksgiving. Coming up, I'm sure you're already dreaming of how much you'll be eating. So how about you go there first and take a look at what they can do for you before you stuff your mouth this Christmas. Anyhow, take a look.
Hello, welcome to Sport Yoga Spot. My name is Amy. I'm the owner and instructor here. I'm currently studying exercise science at Bridgewater State University. My goal with opening the studio was to keep it small, keep it more personal, like personal training and hands-on fitness. We do a lot of functional training, we use weights, and we also do a lot of strength as well as stretching. Obviously, flexibility is a big thing here. I'm an instructor here for Yoga for Strength, 1111 Power Yoga, and as well as Sport Yoga.
Ready for whatever, watching the greats like, man, I could do better. And I ain't waiting to asking if it's my time yet. Slaying legends, I ain't even hit my prime yet. Cause it's the ones who want it, who work the hardest. Never giving up, I came to finish what I started. So put me in your history books. My life, how your epiphanies look. Let's grab the champagne.
Hello, I'm Patricia Akins, and I am the co-owner of Sport Yoga Spot as well as an instructor. We are a boutique fitness located in the center of Wareham, and we offer my favorite program, Sport Yoga. It's a functional training for optimal performance, which includes mobility, endurance, and strength. We use weights and our body weight to get stronger and faster, helping to improve the way that you move, the way you feel, and the way that you look.
Turn from a man to a myth, cause every century only a few exist. So go and check your history books. This is how your epiphanies look. Now let's grab the champagne and the ones who reign victorious, the conquerors glorious.
Sport yoga is special because most yoga programs have something called long holds, where we hold poses for 30, 60, 90 seconds, sometimes even longer than that. With Sport Yoga, we only hold them for 2 seconds and repeat them multiple times. It's more dynamic mobility. If you're an athlete, a person, whatever, when you go to get up or sit down, run, you don't run, move, and hold a position and then change. You have to quickly change, quickly adapt, stop, go, sit, stand very quickly. And our bodies need to learn how to do that in order to prevent injury and to be able to perform at your highest level while active. Sport yoga incorporates movement and athletic movement as well as everyday movement and we strengthen those patterns with 2-second holds. This is perfect posture, all right? So now turn and face this way for 1 second. Let's do heel-toe strikes, all right? So take your right foot and bring it forward, all right? Now the back foot pushes you forward off of that toe. You articulate at that ankle, come up, high knee. Now this foot becomes the front foot, and it's heel-toe, and come up. Now your hands just kind of go with the flow. There. Beautiful. Now you're going to do it backwards. So now toe back and step. Toe, roll, flex. Step back, toe, roll, flex. Step back, toe, roll, flex. All right? Now do it and feel and walk and there. Now, in perfect posture, walk across the floor. Heel, toe. Heel, toe. Push yourself off that back foot. Make it even bigger. Push, push, push. Nice. There you go.
Hi, I'm Paige Hiller, and I'm one of the instructors here at Sport Yoga Spot. I teach Strong by Zumba, and it is a very high-intensity workout here. It has 3 levels. It is for all different types of abilities. Strong by Zumba has taken out all of the dance aspect of the Zumba, and it has put in a lot of the weight and the strengthening. And it is a 60-minute workout, and it's a lot of fun. And you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, let's make a toast to the winners. Yeah, let's make a toast to the winners. And I always knew I'd be somebody special, cause I believed in myself. So no matter what challenge or adversity or problem comes my way, I know I'll be an overcomer. I know I'll be a victor. You know why? Cause I'm a winner.
At Sport Yoga Spot, we offer a free first class, so come on down, try it out. We do recommend, because our classes are smaller sizes, to sign up online at sportyogaspot.com.
History will never be the same. Everybody gonna remember your name. You're a winner. Yeah.
Okay, and so now we're going to dive into Cindy Ivan Photography, and she is actually located in Marion.
Hello, I'm Cindy from Cindy Irving Photography. I specialize mostly in family portraits as well as corporate and business beauty headshots. Well, I always loved taking portraits, so I was the one at the dinner table. Or at holidays where my brother was like, get out of my face. Most of my family was like, all right, Cindy, put the camera down. That was me, always with the camera. Let's see, 2011, I got my first DSLR, the digital camera. And then I kind of played around with that, went to school in Costa Rica, studied photography. And so I remember saying it was like, I'm all done, like this is too hard, I'll just shoot on manual. Like, I'm not trying to be a photographer. Which is kind of funny looking back at it now. And then I ended up having my daughter, and I took out my camera again. Kind of just played around with it, but nothing fancy. The way I really got into photography was my friend. She said, hey Cindy, you have a fancy camera. Can you take pictures of my newborn? And I'm like, yeah, I have a fancy camera, but I'm not a photographer, so I can't take pictures of your newborn. She's like, please, I really want pictures of my newborn. And I'm just like, all right, we can try it. I can't promise you anything. So that was my very first like shoot for someone. I went to San Diego my first year probably photographing to meet with a group that I was part of. So that was my very first like travel for photography. And then later on, I ended up going to places like Seattle, where I did family photo shoots. I've been to, in Poland, when I was in Poland, I got to do some family shoots. Let's see, New Mexico, I've done corporate work there, New Orleans. So just kind of all over the States in a sense, although Poland and Belgium was one of those places where I did get to photograph, which was cool. Okay, so my process meeting a new client. Well, first they call me. We have that initial phone conversation, and I definitely encourage phone conversations because I get to talk to somebody, I get to hear their voice, they get to hear mine, we get to have a different type of connection versus if I'm, trying to go through emails. So after that, if we seem like a match, I have them come in for a consultation so they can see what I have to offer. Because me talking about, you know, like, oh, this photo mounted like this, like, nobody's gonna understand that. You have to come and touch it, as you saw some of my stuff. So after that, the next process would be the photo shoot, which is the super fun part. And then after that, I have something called a viewing and ordering session, which is when I go to the client's house, we do a consultation, almost kind of like an interior designer, because I'm basically, you know, if they're doing wall art, I'm designing design for their walls, like what layouts are we going to do for the galleries, and so that's pretty much my process for that. So my favorite part is the delivery. Because that's when I get to reveal that, oh my God, look at your photo, it looks amazing. And it's always such a different experience from a digital, because looking at a digital on the computer and seeing that, but versus seeing it printed, there's just something magical about that print, something magical about having it in your home. My favorite portrait, I should have brought in, but it's the one you saw of my daughter. She is such an outdoors person, and I'm kind of like, all right, let me stay huddled inside. And so that portrait in particular was her playing outside. And so for her playing outside is fun. For me, capturing the moments is fun. So I'm like, all right, compromise. You're outside, I'm taking the camera. We're both happy. And so I just kind of snapped the portrait. It's just her face and her eyes. And just something about her eyes for me. It's just like, you know, there in that photo, it just looks like the world. Like I could see the world in her eyes. And so that one, as you saw, I probably printed a million times. But I love looking at that because it's my baby, but it's also like I'm just looking deep into her eyes. Well, the recipe, I think, is to definitely have everybody be comfortable. And so that's why I like to meet clients ahead of time and not at the photo shoot, because at that point you already kind of built a relationship, and so they kind of know you. Maybe the kids not so much, because depending if they bring their kids or not to the consultations, but you just kind of develop that relationship where everybody's kind of comfortable once you get to that point of the shoot. And then for little kids, if they haven't met me yet, you know, kind of tucking the camera away for a little bit and kind of getting to know them, getting down on their level, saying like, you know, I'm Cindy, how are you? You know, what's your favorite, you know, princess, or what's your favorite cartoon character? And just kind of like building that bond first. And I think once you have that, you know, you have the trust of your clients, especially the little ones. And so just going from there, I think that's important.
Those long legs pay off.
Right? You guys are awesome. All right, so we're gonna head over to the beach.
All right.
The first few shots I'm gonna take, there's like a grass in that area. We're gonna start there. And so after that, we'll do like the rocks over there and stuff. I'll show you guys. Just follow me. All right. Looks good. All right, Steve, let's see if you can sit on that rock. I'm gonna see how you look. Excuse me.
Stress down.
Perfect. I'm gonna adjust you guys. All right, don't look at me, Liv. Ah, I said don't look. Give her a little tickle, Steve. I don't know if her belly's, oh, beautiful. My role as a photographer, I believe, is to capture these memories for people so that they can look back on it and, you know, hopefully see this time where the kids were little, or just kind of go back into the past and relive that moment. And I want it to be a happy moment where they're looking at that and saying like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know, little Timmy was so little, but that was such a fun day, and I miss that, you know? And something where they can pass on to generations. So my role is to have something tangible that they can look back on.
All right, let's take a break.
Today's cell phones are not only an extension of our arms, but a life tool. Hello, I am Maureen Farrington from Advantage Custom Apps. I am here today to talk about a certain app, a tool that will help you navigate your way through the Wareham community. The WCTV app places your local community in the palm of your hand. The app is a place where you will find local events, town meetings, local and school sports, community interest stories, compelling interviews, and most of all, the ability to shop local. Connect to the Wareham app by going to your web browser and typing in wctv.app. And then, once you bring up the web link, you have the opportunity of adding WCTV's app to your home screen. Once you download the app and save it to your home screen, you will then have the opportunity to, with the touch of a finger, hit the call button, which we call WCTV, the refer us button. You can refer the app to your friends and families. There's a Facebook share button if you'd like to put that on your Facebook page as well. And here is the menu tab. On the menu tab, we have YouTube videos, new program proposal, events that WCTV is hosting, a photo gallery, contact button, and can lead you right to their website. We also have a Shop Local tab. When you touch on that, you'll see the local businesses that you can frequent. Also, there's an About Us tab telling you some information about WCTV, their hours and directions. This here will take you right to their Facebook page. There is a donate button if you would like to donate to WCTV, and a join button that will let you join their community. Many local establishments are listing their business on the WCTV app. And you can too. It's a great way to showcase your business to your existing customers and your potential new ones. For a nominal fee, you could list your business on the Shop Local tab as well. A percentage of that fee goes to fund a scholarship for an outgoing senior. So be in the now and get the WCTV app on your home screen.
Okay, welcome back and thank you for being with us this morning. We are broadcasting live from our WCTV studio. And this is Good Morning Wareham, your source for local news, weather, traffic, and more information. Sally Morrison is not in. That was the last word that we heard. So we will continue with our show. Hopefully she will be in by the time we're done with history. So let's start with this day in crime history. Millions of dollars were stolen from the JFK airport in 1978. They did not come to me. Ooh, could be a millionaire by now. Anyway, known as the Lufthansa heist, 6 masked men entered the airport in New York and stole $5 million in bills and another $1 million worth of jewelry, a total which is worth more than $23 million today. The heist was actually planned by a man who worked at the cargo at the JFK airport. The man with the plan told a co-worker who stole the idea and eventually got the word to a mobster, Henry Hill. Long story short, several gunmen took a supervisor hostage and forced them to open the vault. Through the though they got away, 8 people were involved with the crime, ended up murdered or missing. That is a mob way of cleaning up the heist or covering it up. The leader Hill got arrested in 1980 for non-related charges, and he ended up speaking up about the matter, leading to recovery of some of the stolen money. And also on this day in war history, Germany declared war on the United States in 1941. Nazi leader Adolf Hitler had already been fighting the Allied forces for 2 years when the Japanese surprisingly bombed Pearl Harbor. Being allies with each other, Hitler subsequently declared war on the United States, showing his loyalty to Japan. Tens of thousands of Americans would be sent to both Europe and the islands, East Asia, to fight on 2 fronts. Also on this day in conman history, the financier Bernie Madoff was arrested in 2008 The multimillionaire was brought down under the charges of running a Ponzi scheme and sentenced to 150 years in prison, which he is still serving to this day. I guess people are so greedy. They're just not, there isn't enough money out there to satisfy somebody. But there is some to satisfy me. Trust you me. Ask what my price is. Anyhow, today for a birthday, shout out goes to John Kerry. Born in 1943, Kerry was a senator for Massachusetts before running as a Democrat candidate against George W. Bush in 2004. Despite losing, he would go on to become the Secretary of the State under Obama during his second term as president. And that is all for this morning history segment. To learn more cool historical facts, you can go online under history.com. Segment is next. We're going to check if Sally is in, and if actually Sally is in, great. So let's take a look at our events calendar, and we'll bring Sally. and welcome back. This is the Good Morning Show, coffee segment, live guest, Sally Morrison, who is here. She just got my email this morning, and thank you very much for reading it and for being here. You were supposed to come Friday, but thank you for being a good sport and being here today.
De nada.
De nada. All right, so you're here to talk about the upcoming, not necessarily events, but what's next for Deepa, right?
Yes.
Okay, so take it away.
So the Saturday
Okay.
is photos with Santa Paws here, actually right over there, at the WCTV station. And that's 11 to 3 o'clock, rain, snow, or shine. And it's people, pups, and cats.
Are they all in the photo with Santa, or like?
Yes.
Okay.
And it can be, if you don't have any pets, don't be sad. You can come
Borrow a
and get
pet?
you can come sans pets. You don't have to have pets to have the photo taken, but we're opening the opportunity that people that have pets, that they can have their photos taken with Santa Paws.
Do those who identify their children as pets, can they bring their kids in?
Children can come too. Humans, people, pets are just pups and cats.
Okay.
No other animals, at least this year. We started with Project Runway, and we had the 24 dogs come through here. It was wonderful. It was easy. While we were shooting that, photos with Santa came about during the first shoot. And then we were getting a little cocky there, and we said, well, how about some cats too? Because people were asking us if cats could be in Project Runway. And I said, I don't see them walking the red carpet, but who knows? We'll have to look into that for another year. Like Project Runway, there are obviously some conditions for bringing animals. So for people who don't have pets, who want to come in and they don't want to be around dogs and cats, there's only one group of people in the studio at a time. So you're not going to run into, in here in the studio, into other people who might have pets, and people who have their own pets might be a little anxious around other animals. That out in the parking lot, obviously as people are queuing up, there will be multiple people there. What happened at Project Runway is that people with dogs that might get a little overexcited, they waited in the car till it was their turn. And then other dogs went up and, had fun and played with other animals while they were waiting. But in the studio, it's one group at a time with Santa. And all the dogs, all dogs, if your dog's 5 pounds, that's great, but all dogs, little to big, need to be on leash. And all cats need to be in carriers. And they'll come into the carrier, into the studio, and then we'll go from there. And then all animals have to have their proof of rabies and their immunization shots. So when you register, you just, whether it's on your phone or you have the paper, that you let the people at the depot tent know that your animals are up to date.
So what about those who will be listening to this and to say, oh, I do not have a dog or a cat, but I do have a pet?
It can only be dogs or cats.
You just open the floodgates with cats.
I know.
What about turtles? They're very cute. And they're very
well,
quiet.
in this weather, it's not a really bright idea to be sitting in a car with your turtle. I mean, we looked into it, and I went through my now good friend throughout all of this, got to really know Jenny Caparini, who you know from the Wareham Park Walkers and Scouts Puppy Manners. She worked with us for making Project Runway so smooth, so fun, so successful. And then when we were talking about it, I said, well, what kind of pets? And she went through the list and said, no, these, no, 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 for varied reasons.
Okay.
And some of it is the cold. And some of it, we're going to have a line of people. And the animals need to be, like, also contained. And they'll be waiting outside. And it's winter, so, we added one more mammal onto the list. Who knows? Next year we might look at things a little bit differently. It'll all based on how this runs.
Okay.
So, we'll see how that goes.
Now, do they pay money for these pictures, or is it free?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I didn't know if it was a free service. I was about to come in, but now that we have to pay.
So, and the money goes to the dog park.
Okay.
So, people have two options. One, for $10, 5 shots will be taken in the studio, and you can pick which one of those 5 shots that you want printed. And for $15, you get 10 shots. Most people are going to go for the $10, but we added the other layer that if somebody has multiple children or there's multiple pets, that everybody's eyes are open. The permutations of not everybody being on the same page increase. So if there's a larger group, they can still do the, 5 shots for $10. But, the more animals and people you put in the mix to get everybody that's a picture that they're happy with, that's that suggestion. So, and Santa will be in the studio, but there will be the green screen. So the photos are taken, and then you will go to another room in the studio, and there you will pick which shot you want printed, and you'll get to pick from multiple backgrounds what you want behind your photo with Santa. And then you make those choices, and then it's printed out, and then we have, it goes in an acrylic frame, and you're good to go. So it'll be quick. So there's a lot of great things happening this weekend in Wareham. So you can, pop in here and get your photo, and you can go across the street to the art show, and there's the high school show up at the library, and there's Christmas in the park down at Onset. So there's a lot of things happening, and you'd be able to do. This could just be one short little pit stop on your way to other things. And the other piece that we're adding is
for Saturday.
For Saturday,
okay.
Is that there is a child up at Children's Hospital. His name is Carlos. He's 6 years old, and saw in the Facebook feed he's waiting for a heart, and his only little simple wish is he would like his room decorated with Christmas cards. So we're going to supersize that a bit for him. So we're asking people to bring cards, or kids their drawings, some messages with them. And if somebody would like to participate, doesn't want to have the photo, you can just come by and drop off your messages at the depot tent, and we're going to put that all together. And then in studio, we're going to have a scroll where people can write messages, and that will be included. And we will ask permission for the people who are having their photos taken if we could print 2. And the second one we're going to put into a collage, so like a Santa collage that'll also go up to him.
Okay, and you wanted to do recorded messages and stuff.
And we're also going to have send a DVD, and so people can say whatever kind of message to Carlos, and that will also go as part of the message. And he will also have a quilt, a Christmas quilt, and that's already done. So there will also be up on the bulletin board the address if you want to just mail a message to Carlos. So his address at Children's Hospital will be on the WCTV bulletin board as well. So a very easy kind of special way for a little boy. And we're going to have that focus is, you know, warm wishes from Wareham to Carlos to make his family Christmas just a little bit better. Yeah.
So this last Saturday was the Christmas parade.
Yes.
You were in it. I wish we had that picture up there. Oh my goodness. You know the one I'm talking about. You in that dog costume. Anyhow, so what was the vibe? Do you feel that people are more aware now about DPAR, what is going on, and you know what did you get from it as you continue these fundraisers?
Yes, there were people, because I was handing out pooch treats, and it had our business card and the dates for this Saturday,
Okay.
and also Project Runway. And there were people that were aware, and then there were people that wanted for me to stay, and like, well, when is the dog park, and where is it going to be? So there's obviously lots more people that are aware, because I also had a dog park sign. And then there's still more, you know, redundancy. And the other piece, while I was saying that, it comes to mind for Saturday. We prefer cash or the dinosaur check made out to DPAW. We can also take cards, but it takes a big bite out of, you know, and sometimes when you see at stores a minimum purchase of whatever reason, that if that's all that you can do for the transaction, that's fine. But if you had $10 in your pocket, or you know, find out where those checks still are, if you do have them, and write out a check to DPAW, that would mean more of the money goes to the into the dog park fund.
Very good. So, Andy, last time you said that you were very close to your goal.
Yeah, and what we're hoping that'll take us over the line is, obviously this event is fun. This isn't like a big money maker. We're just doing this because it's fun, and the crew had fun with the dogs at Project. There are people who were contestants who are part of this. Their character, I mean, they're helping out with this because it was so much fun. Project Runway, which is the premiere is January 17th. That is our big money maker. To like what we made all year, we're hoping that this will double that. And most of the money for Project Runway will come from the sponsors and the co-producers that are included in the video. And we still are taking on sponsors.
What kind of sponsors?
It can be a business, it can be an individual, a family. It could be, I'm going to sponsor it, but I want the names of all my pets on there. It could be in memory of a person who loved dogs, or in memory of another pet. They will be part of the credits, and they will also be included in the playbill for the event for the evening. And then we are we're now down to 5, I think. We had slots for 10 co-producers that have, just like when you watch a movie, in the beginning, all this individual stuff comes up. There were slots for 10 co-producers, plus they get a bunch of other business perks for the whole year. And I think we have slots for like 5 more of them. And we can take on sponsors and co-producers through January 7th. After that, we can't, I and Jesse, we won't be able to get it into the video as, you know, the final product, because we will have to be like shutting that down so we have it ready for January 17th. So if anybody is interested in being a co-producer or a sponsor, that they can contact. They can go to the Wareham Dog Park website, which is warehamdogpark.org, or they can contact me. Probably easiest is just hit me up on Facebook, Sally A. Marson, Comcast.net, or in the Facebook feeds for any of these events. My email is on there, and some of them, as we get closer to the event, my phone number is on there as well.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Sally. So we have this Saturday from 11 to 3.
Yes.
Here at WCTV, where you take pictures with Santa. Bring your pets if you have some, and by pets, cats and dogs. And also we have the big premiere on January 17th.
Yes, at the Stone Path Malt.
Oh my God.
And it's going to be a premiere. Da-da-da-da. And we will have, in addition to the video, we'll have, it's going to be like a movie night. So for the price of the tickets, there will be a concession of all kinds of goodies. Everyone, in the price of your ticket, you get a doggy swag bag with all kinds of goodies. You get to pick the People's Choice pup. So everybody that attends gets a voting ballot. There will be judges that will pick the judge's choice, but everybody that's going to come will be part of it. And for that, the tickets will be $15. So that's for the premiere, and that's for the food. There will be a free raffle, as well as a doggy swag bag. There will also be a famous dogs and entertainment trivia contest with prizes. So there'll be like a lot of goodies. And if you are a DPAW member or you're one of the contestants, the tickets are $10. And that's for a member +1, a contestant +1, and kids are $5.
Very good. Thank you so much, Sally, for being here this
Well, thank
morning.
you for having me.
So that was Sally Morrison here in the studio to talk about DPAW's upcoming events. Important date for you to remember right now is this Saturday from 11 to 3 here, WCTV, 505 Main Street in Wareham, where you can have pictures with Santa, including your pets. Anyhow, if you missed us this morning, this particular show will air this evening at 6 p.m. It will also go on our YouTube channel at Wareham Community Television on YouTube. We'll be back here on Friday with plenty more. So thank you and have a pleasant day. Bye.